again, I'm not surprised to see Lyra be a priority pick. I'm just surprised that it's a priority pick when Catherine and Grace are both available.
And I mentioned this last time. Lyra is still the priority roamer for only some teams. Some teams, they feel she's stronger than Grace, she's stronger than Catherine, because the amount of sustain she brings still in 2.8 is pretty substantial. So some teams still prioritize her. We see SalryPotatoes going for the Catherine, though. This is very scary. If they get Baptiste with it, if they get Cruel with it, it can be combined with characters that can deal insane amount of devastation in the team fights.
The Baptiste is available. I mean, this is the combo we talked about all last season was Catherine Baptiste. It was absolutely devastating. SalryPotatoes are not going to go for it, which it's
G2 kind of wiping the sweat from their brows in that situation potentially. It's not going to go on through in the end. The Vox was banned away though. Now G2 have to decide where they want to go.
I mean, it can still go through as a last pick. I think that Kestrel is probably going to be in lane as a weapon power carry, and it's actually an incredibly strong weapon power carry, specifically against Lyra, because Lyra doesn't have a lot of defense, and once Kestrel gets her crit up, she can blow that Lyra up. I'm very interested to what G2 are trying to build. They banned the Black Feather, they banned the Vox. Celeste is not available. Is it going to be a Scarf here?
It could be Scarf, could be Samuel. Pairs very well with the Lyra. I expect them to try and get something that will be able to deal with the range of the Kestrel. Obviously, we know Sneaky is a very strong Kestrel player. It's one of the 3 heroes or so that he played all the time last season, even in Challengers and in Vainglory 8. So they know that it's very likely to be going up into the lane, but they're just going to take away the Baptiste themselves and say, you know what? We gave you the opportunity. You missed your chance. We're going to take care of things.
And I was just going to talk about this. While they had to take Baptiste doesn't necessarily synergize very well with Lyra. She doesn't provide too much for him except for that heal, which doesn't help him too much. He already has a little bit of sustain. So while they were forced to take away the Baptiste and they took it away from SalryPotatoes, they're not going to have that devastating combo anymore. It's still not the best draft for G2. They need to round it out with something strong. This is another Sky. Is it a weapon power Sky? It kind of has to be.
With the Baptiste Lyra already picked, it's almost guaranteeing that it will be the weapon Sky, which I think is a much better call for them in the lane. But like you said, the synergy between these 3 heroes isn't. It feels like it's a lot of that sort of poke and try and kite, and then wait for your opponents to sort of blow their abilities and then re-engage. And obviously, with a Lyra, you'll have the durability to survive engages coming out from SalryPotatoes, but will you be able to kite it out the way that you really want to is the question.
That is going to be the question. And another question is going to be SalryPotatoes. How do they finish out this competition? Obviously, they've got that Kestrel that could be jungle or lane, likely to go to that lane. And Samuel locked in actually doesn't really clear it up too much because we've started to see Samuel more in the lane as well as the jungle.
I do think this makes SalryPotatoes' composition a little bit better. It's stronger mid-game because while G2 have a lot of sustain with the Lyra, they don't have enough of sustain, especially with the nerfs that will happen to Lyra, to keep healing up the damage that Samuel is going to be able to output. And if SalryPotatoes use that to their advantage, if they're able to push, get a turret, get another turret, perhaps a gold miner, they're going to develop enough of a lead to just completely shut down G2's composition before it gets rolling. But G2's composition does have a very significant advantage in that lane poke before Samuel gets to his mid-game power spike, where they can just keep poking with the Baptiste, Sky keeps using her forward barrage, and Lyra keeps healing up. So whoever is going to be able to pull the advantage first, they might be able to take over the game.
So kind of what we were talking about in the pre-show, this is all about early proactivity, making sure that you're the ones in charge of the game and you're setting the pace.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how the jungle plays out in particular, because neither of these junglers are really known for being the hyper-aggressive, but they're both very capable of being aggressive and moving into the opponent's jungle, especially those level 2 spikes. You know, once you have Bad Mojo and Ordained, you can make some plays happen with the Baptiste. But Samuel, we know at level 2 is one of the strongest level 2 heroes in the game with the Drifting Dark Malice Verdicts. So it's going to be really fun to see how the teams decide to play around this first rotation and getting those junglers to level 2.
Yeah, and let's not forget as well that the players to watch for these guys are going to be those laners. Do you have any expectations of how this lane is going to play out, Zoro?
I think it's going to be more about the jungle, like Tasty Bacon was saying. Samuel into Baptiste is a great matchup. If they're able to get in there and apply a lot of pressure, it would just shut down the composition before they were able to apply the pressure in lane.
All right, well, it's time to get on into the second game of this series. Let us know who you're supporting at home with the hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know who you are wanting to head towards that World Championship later on in this season. Without further ado, though, it's time to pass it over to Dowsy and the Source for game number 2.
G2 looking very interesting with their current composition. Perhaps a double CP composition here, indicated by the fact that Hundor has that crystal bit in his inventory. Very interesting stuff indeed here, Source. 2.8 meta starting to unravel in front of our eyes.
Yeah, both teams opening this up with a double jungle and sending their captains off to go play footsies, go decide who's going to have supremacy over the small amounts of bush there is. Merciless pursuit forward by Glass, who's going to get punished with a bit of damage back.
Yeah, Hundor able to lay down a lot of damage through that forward barrage. There's that Ordain coming through. Oh no, Joker is just straight up dead. The Reap coming through, stacking on up and empowering Dark Potatoes attacks, and Joker just got blown up in that scenario.
That's that nice level 2 power spike, giving us all this early aggression, all this early fighting between these teams, and now we'll probably see a little bit of a lull as they head off to lane, kind of get some control. Ooh, Class again being punished by the forward barrage from Hundor.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Class has opted in for a Dragon Blood contract rather than the Iron Guard that we sometimes see Catherine's pick up, which means there's no real healing available for Class when Sneaky, you know, takes down these larger creeps in the lane. So Class has to be very careful about how he operates in this lane. Very susceptible to poke. You do see Joker moving on up, looking to try and lay down some pressure, relieve also the pressure that Sneaky and Class are currently experiencing. Dark Potatoes here as well. Maybe another Brawl gonna come out. Dark Potato goes forward. Joker with the Ordain, but he's just sitting inside of it. The Drifting Dark Mountain Vertigo doing so much work, but no kills have been found just yet. Kianoko are able to heal on up with the double O cart for the increased healing on his Sigil.
Yeah, we talked about on the desk how Sneaky has that skill on that weapon power Kestrel. Those boomer shots were huge.
Straight up dead there. Joker now, will he be pressured as well? Mouse and Vertex do work, but the Drifting Dark's not there anymore. Looks like they may just fall back here. Hundor wants to move into the lane, but Sneaky and Joker doing so much work to stop it. Sigil comes through to save his life just in the nick of time. Dark Potato is going to roam back up as well. They haven't spotted him just yet. There it is. Ordain goes down. It's Sneaky trapped inside it, but Joker dissuades them from going on in with his Malice and Verdict Drifting Dark combo once more. What an exciting start to this game.
Yeah, plenty of action, and we are starting to see a little bit of how much value that Lyra gets. It's something we haven't seen in the last few games, hasn't been picked, hasn't really been banned. And you were talking about the Dragon Blood contract, that lack of, you know, early lane sustain. You compare that to a Lyra who's just going to have so much power to keep, you know, her teammates alive. Nakoa is just going to have a field day, and I think that that may come back to bite the members of Salty Potatoes, at least at the beginning half of the game.
Yeah, we'll have to see. You can see that Kianoko is invested in a Crucible as his first item. Means that he's got more health in his arsenal, so that he's going to output stronger healings. Currently, the philosophy is that if you can, you know, manage your Sigil cooldown well, you don't need a fountain. Looks like Joker may be in a bit of trouble here. The Ordain stuns, he's dead! Another kill for Dark Potato. This double CP composition from G2 reaping a lot of success.
So much damage off of the Ordain and the Bad Mojo, and it's such a huge amount of initial burst coming out from Dark Potato. It's going to make it really difficult for Samuel to just kite, because Joker wants to be fairly mobile throughout the fight. If he's the one who keeps getting hit by the Ordain every single time, can't really safely kite, has to do that within that nice confined space. That's just allowing Hundor to lay in huge amounts of damage.
Yeah, it certainly is. Currently, Salty Potato is really struggling to deal with it. I think something that was a big turning point for G2 in the previous game was the Broken Myth acquisition for Hundor. Really turned the power spike of the sky in the lane previous game. Now with a double CP composition, you have to imagine that Aegises are going to be rushed. However, if you look at the heroes that are actually on the Halcyon Fold for Salty Potatoes, it's Sneaky on a Kestrel, it's Joker on a Samuel. Two heroes that actually want to rush damage rather than defenses, which is going to kind of maybe negate some of the damage Salty Potatoes will have early. But equally, you have to wonder what's going to be the prioritization for Broken Myths for G2 once those shielding have started to be stacked up for Salty Potatoes, because we've often seen CP compositions fail due to the fact that they kind of run out of damage in the mid-stage of the game due to shielding, and Broken Myths not really being picked up early enough.
Yeah, and Dark Potato not doing anything here. That Broken Myth has a Shatter Glass, so all about that high initial burst to be able to take out one of these targets. Now, yes, he may want to pick up the additional damage, but oh, goodbye Sneaky.
Oh, he is just straight up dead. Hundor just dancing around Class's movements there. There were not enough coordination from Class and Sneaky to be able to avoid that forward barrage. Clearly punished by G2. 4-0. They got the kills in there, but they don't really have a gold lead yet. Something that they're looking to try and build up with the objectives that they need to start taking. This turret could be the first, but not right now. They're not looking to commit to it just yet.
Yeah, it is a little difficult for them to see. There's plenty of wave clear from Sneaky and the Joker. For the moment, it seems as if G2 doesn't really need to worry about building those Broken Myths just yet. Assuming that they can continue to land all the damage that they're landing and continue to get these pickoffs, the gold lead will start to build, and there will be also probably be an experience lead as the members of Salty Potatoes are continuously forced to back. And maybe this will be another mid.
Oh, Hundor almost loses his life here. Kianako heals on up. There's that Oblivion going out. The Crucible used to make sure no one got caught in it. G2 able to escape. Currently, Salty Potatoes looking to perhaps mount a attack. The Malice and Verdict doing a lot of work. This turret looks like it's just going to straight up fall, and there's something G2 can do about it. Kianako goes down. So does Hundor. A double-pronged attack, and now it's Dark Potato in trouble as they're going to move forward and try and find an ace for themselves. And they get it. It's Joker finding the shutdown and the ace for the team, and maybe they look for a second turret.
Things looked really good for G2, and now Salty Potatoes are going back. Maybe putting Sneaky on a more comfortable hero is going to make him more confident, let him land that damage, get those glimmer shots in there. And I mean, landing the one-shot, one-kill just as they pick up the additional kill. I mean, that's just got to feel good and set them on better momentum. They're also way up in gold, about 2,000 gold lead, and they have the tower advantage.
Incredible peak there for the side of Salty Potatoes, and like you mentioned, it is comfortable heroes for Salty Potatoes. Sneaky on this weapon-powered Kestrel, the Joker on his Samuel, a hero he had so much influence in the summer season, the back half of Split 2. Salty Potatoes maybe just saying, you know, it's a new meta, but we're not liking it, so we're just going to stick to what worked for us in summer, and you're going to have to adapt to it. Double CP, very interesting start for G2, seeming like it's starting to hit a bit of a power deficit. Shielding starting to be acquired by the side of Salty Potatoes, which will cut down the damage that G2 can output.
Also have to worry about G2's build. Dark Potato, his build looks a little bit strange, isn't really looking to go through anything in Hundor.
Oh wow, just about escapes Hundor. One shot's gonna go out, but that's the Oblivion putting to sleep. Keanu moves in, but look at the damage coming out. He's silenced up, he can't heal. Tries to get away, the Joker looking for the Dark Potato and will be able to find it as well. And now G2 are starting to fall behind. Dark Potato doing his best to get towards that clockwork as quickly as possible so he can get the bad mojos out during his empowered status, but right now it's Salty Potatoes who are just outputting so much damage. That choke point turret down to half HP at 9 minutes.
Yeah, and you know, based on the build, like I was saying with Dark Potato, he is definitely looking for the clockwork, but has kind of a couple pieces of a couple items. He's really just picked up a few stats. You know, Hundor hasn't really built into any armor, has a little bit of shield, so that means Sneaky is going to start to get a lot of value. Is going with Sora Blade Tornado Trigger, possibly into a Tyrant's Monocle, go for that auto attack, crit build, standard, you know, auto attack and carry as much damage as you can get out as quickly as humanly possible. And for the moment, you know, the members of Salty Potatoes have been kind of able to poke and pressure out G2, and I think G2 really need to kind of consolidate themselves and look for a gank somewhere in the jungle, find another pick-off, because they're not really going to win a poke war anymore.
No, I think I agree with you. The range that Salty Potatoes have via the empowered Malice and Verdicts as well as the glimmer shots from Sneaky mean that it's very difficult for Dark Potato to actually get in position to be impactful on this Batiste. And so for G2, they need to get to a stage where they're comfortable, I think, using that Arcane Passage on top of the Kestrel or the Samuel to really have huge impact in teamfights. Otherwise, I think that the range advantage that SalryPotatoes currently have will win them team fights after each other. Also, like you mentioned, armor most likely going to be prioritized. There it is, that package going out, but the Oblivion blocked up. Yannick almost loses his life. Dark Potato goes forward. Look at the damage onto the Joker, but he gets the Fountain just in time to survive. And now G2 are in a very hard position. They are on the wrong side of the map to disengage the fight. SalryPotatoes looking like they want to move on in. Hundor trying to find some damage onto Class, but look at the glimmer shots coming out. Dark Potato sniped and dead, and now it's Hundor in trouble as well. They're going to move forward and pressure this guy while Sneaky decides that he's just going to look to take the choke point turret whilst G2 are in trouble. SalryPotatoes just playing distraction games as Sneaky going to be able to finish that one off. Joker outputting so much damage in this Marathon verdict, but Hundor manages to find Class. Surprising. G2 may be able to find a couple kills for themselves, and it looks like Sneaky was unsuccessful. Joker's going to fall here. It seems a double for Hundor. Sneaky moving in for the assassination, but he's spotted on up. Keanu will survive. Hundor as well. The one shot though, missed. It goes between, and Sneaky now has to escape. All looked so good for SalryPotatoes, but Hundor managing to thread the needle.
An insane amount of high mechanical play out of Hundor to make the best of a bad situation and turn things back to even out some of that gold. So now they're a couple items closer. Has that Pierce is getting a little bit closer towards that broken myth, and maybe that power spike will be enough to bring them back into this. But for the moment, Dark Potato still shifting around a little bit on those items, looks to be going for the Aegis to get that defense. But again, not a lot of armor. Only Keanu Nakoa has built up a little bit, but that still means that Sneaky is going to do significant damage. Now has a tension bow, so looking for that huge amount of burst to try and possibly pick off either Hunter or Keanu Nakoa and just kind of set the team fight in their advantage.
Yeah, be very interesting to see if Hundor goes towards armor next, or if he'll prioritize a fourth CP damage item like he did in the previous game. I think armor is just so necessary against this Kestrel. Does have that broken myth now. SalryPotatoes, a window of opportunity, will secure 1,200 gold for their team, pushing their lead up to a huge 4,000 at this point. Currently, Dark Potato just finishing his clockwork as well will give him a bit of extra damage. Needs that broken myth for sure, so he can stack those bad mojos up. Really have a lot of damage. We'd already see that the shielding's there for Sneaky. Class has an Aegis, and Joker has the reflex block. Very interesting times here, Source.
Indeed. I think the biggest problem for G2 is we saw that team fight with the Arcane Passage. It didn't really go that well for them, and it looks like they were considering setting up another one. It's hard. They need to either find a really great, full engagement shooter.
Oh my goodness.
Dark Potato!
Dark Potato gets melted on through, survives. Fearsome Shade's gonna knock back two, but it doesn't matter. He's dead. Joker able to find the kill credit now. Look at where G2 are. They are out of position, but this passage should get them into the base. Here comes Joker looking for some damage. Look at Sneaky's glimmer shots tearing through Hundor. Almost dead. The Fountain just well timed to keep him alive, but the first Vein Crystal turret will fall, and SalryPotato is going to be very, very happy with their win there. Able to take an objective, push their lead even further. G2, they are desperately trying to get in position to at least find a kill. SalryPotatoes is setting up an ambush. They're looking to just turn this around. Dark Potato almost dead. Keanu Nakoa tanking enough. They've taken down the captain. Dark Potato likely to fall very swiftly. Sneaky with a double. Hundor last man standing, and Sneaky going to turn his attention to the minions. Hundor will find another. It's now carry versus carry, the matchup that we've all been watching this entire game, but both looking like they don't want to face off each other. Instead, synchronized backports. 8-8, this game is close on kills, but certainly very, very far apart as far as objectives are concerned.
Impressive by Hundor to continue to just salvage all of these situations for the side of G2. Dark Potato gets caught out near the bush, takes so much damage. it's really, really difficult for G2 to continuously step up. Yes, they have a good kind of roaming team composition, but they can't, they don't have that huge tank who's going to walk into that bush and face check all that positioning for them. Additionally, they're spending all, majority of their gold onto items. They do have a little bit of vision with some of these players, but no scout traps down, no defensive vision for themselves. So every single time they step forward, it's going to be a risk. They need to be on point on every single one of these plays, and primarily it's been Hundor who's really made that happen for them.
Yeah, Hundor with cooldown reduction in his inventory. He's going to be building towards a 4th CP item. No armor going to be there. Sneaky's build completed. The monocle to round things up. Double crit, tension bow, Sora blade. That's a lot of armor piercing as well as just damage coming out of this weapon powered carry. Hundor's going to have to try and avoid it. You see Dark Potato prioritizing defense of his own, which means there's just not going to be a broken myth for him at all this game. Very unlikely that he even gets into the broken myth by the end of this game, despite whatever conclusion, unless this was to go on for another 15 or so minutes. G2, go for it.
Oh, I definitely think Dark Potato just wants to CC as much as humanly possible. He just needs to survive, because he's been probably pretty much the first one to go down in almost every fight.
This is challenging times for G2. Once more out-rotated. Salty Potatoes can move into the base. Kiana and Nakoa taking so much damage in the process. Hundor not quite stacking up with his broken myth either. Salty Potatoes, where will they go? A split comes out of G2. Hundor over the wall, the rest trying to backport. Dark Potato gets spotted out though, and he is in so much trouble. Fearsome Shade used, but the block comes through from Joker and Sneaky to survive. The Joker trying to find the kill, but somehow Dark Potato takes him down. A mistake from Salty Potatoes, and now they are in a bit of a pickle. Looks like G2 won't chase too deeply here, respecting their position in this game. A lifeline shown to them in this 17th minute.
Last minute bit of healing saves Dark Potato. Kiana Nakoa uses the Arcane Passage to make it through that base wall and show up for his teammates. So G2, they've got a reprieve, they've got that moment to kind of step out onto the fold and maybe bring back some map control, a little bit of momentum. Maybe they find the secondary kill, stagger some of those deaths. They can take their first turret of the game, because this has been Salty Potatoes just controlling the map.
I have to see if they're able to do so. The Joker has respawned. Going to be clearing out this wave, but Sneaky has so much wave clear available to him as well. Very risky here for G2 to push too deep. You can see exactly why. The damage Joker is outputting here. Like, there's going to be Keanu and Dark Potato going very low. One shot comes out, it's dodged away. Class follows up through that passage, but look, they just targeted Dark Potato, and he falls immediately. Keanu and Nakoa stunned on up. Salty Potatoes pushing on forward. Kiana Nakoa has to escape here, and Hundor with a bit of energy from that tree and may be able to do some damage. Class taking a bit, but they've lost their captain once more, and Hundor will find the backport, but it's likely going to be a Kraken taken here for Salty Potatoes.
Class was so low, and just surviving through two of those forward barrages, making it through the first one, being that low, allowed him to tank things up, and I think that maybe some damage could have come out on the Sneaky, maybe deterred that additional chase, and Kiana Nakoa would have survived. But now it's a Kraken going over to the side of Salty Potatoes, and they will continue to pressure G2. Maybe this could be the end of the game if G2 cannot get enough damage on the Kraken or ace the enemy team.
Yeah, you have to feel for G2 that they have to initiate a team fight sooner rather than later, because this Kraken only has one Vein Crystal turret to take down before that Vein Crystal is fully exposed, and Salty Potatoes are within an arm's reach of winning. G2 lining up here, clearing the wave, and Salty Potatoes start their engage. And Malice and Verdict's reaching, but there's the engage coming out of Kiana Nakoa. Everyone's going to move on in. There's the Oblivion blocked on up. It's going to be Joker removed as Dark Potato goes down as well. Hundor trying to find the damage onto Sneaky. Kiana Nakoa trying to provide healing, but it misses the sigil. And now Hundor's in a bit of trouble. And Sneaky just going to move straight on into the base as Class distracts Hundor. Will lose his life for it. What can Sneaky do is the question. Kraken full health. Sneaky invisible. The Vein Crystal starting to melt away. I don't think they can stop him. Hundor tries his best. Will take him down, but a Kraken is far too healthy, and one swift punch equalizes this series for Salty Potatoes.
an impressive game out from Salty Potatoes, putting Sneaky back onto that comfortable hero, Joker as well. And I think that was really the big difference there. There was a great opening from G2, but Salty Potatoes just knew when and where they needed to be to turn the game.
Man, incredible series this one here. G2 Salty Potatoes tied 1 apiece